Hello everyone, my name is Grethade and I'm a member of the Noobcast Gaming Podcast. A few days ago I did an audio update talking about the whereabouts of the Noobcast Gaming crew and what we've been doing. I said for myself that I was going to be working on my writing, posting it on my GIO blog, and doing stuff for my YouTube and Twitch. Well, here it is. I have finished my first blog since returning to the whole writing thing. And I've decided that I want to go ahead and put an audio version to all my blogs. The reason being, not everyone likes to read. I can't understand you why you wouldn't want to read, but nonetheless, you don't. Some people like to have background noise. I get that. When I'm playing games and I'm not my problem is when I'm recording videos, I tend to realize that I'm actually playing YouTube videos in the background, and I completely fail. So then it's like, well, that's crap. That said, anything I write will have an audio version which will be updated to this SoundCloud. Additionally, if I feel the blog is worth serious note, I shall make a YouTube video of the same blog. Though the video itself might not be that exciting because it's generally my bad gameplay because I play horrible, it's there nonetheless for you to enjoy my noob-like gaming capabilities. Or something like that. Anyway, let's get into my first blog. There's a locomotive that needs to be stopped. The hype train. I'm referring to the inflated interest that is generated by game publishers for their upcoming titles. Consumers everywhere are swept up by the puffery publishers use to bring to light these new titles, and in the wake of these sweeping marketing storms, consumers are left drooling over beautiful screenshots, video clips, and industry-changing game mechanics. Gaming journalists at the same time will fall ill with the same symptoms. Why wouldn't they? Gaming journalists, when they close their word processing programs, are consumers of the same product. What is damaging is when game journalists become mouthpieces for publishers. Once a new game is announced and press releases hit RSS feeds, some writers will copy a lot of what publishers say, getting caught up in the excitement for these new games. These buy-ins then give a skewed presentation to readers. Overall, this can lead to a lot of anticipation for a title that may not have actually earned that attention. The reason journalists are supposed to present an unbiased position is because of the amount of power they possess. That's not to say that gaming journalists are rich, campaign-driven individuals. Rather, they have a podium from which their voices can be heard. Those articles then are read by thousands upon thousands of readers potentially. That power has the ability to sway the opinions of readers. Let's take an example of what I'm talking about. Earlier this year, a highly anticipated title for the Xbox One was released. This was none other than Titanfall. To give an idea of how much hype there was for Titanfall, we have to go no further than E3 of 2013. At E3 that year, Titanfall walked away with over 60 awards, including Best in Show. This leaves one mind-boggling question. How does a game win Best in Show when it's not even released yet? The hype from E3 and all these awards for an unreleased game created a huge following and anticipation. Fast forward to an article by IGN's Ryan McCaffrey. At the very end of his preview, the final line reads, "Believe the hype." How irresponsible can a single writer for such a large site get? McCaffrey posted his story in August of last year. That is over half a year before the final product was finished and released. Of course, EA jumped on that story and pulled the quote for their own trailers and previews. Believe the hype, IGN. Isn't it difficult to be skeptical when such a large entity is telling you to buy this product? It's hard to resist, most certainly. A huge amount of people visit IGN very regularly for their news, reviews, and previews. Those readers will more often than not trust what they're reading from writers they feel they can count on because of the insight that writer has in the industry. Post-game launch brought to light what the game was like. Bare boned, a glorified highlight reel were terms used to describe Titanfall. As for its scores, Metacritic reports an 86 for the PC and the Xbox One versions, and an 84 for the 360. PC Gamer gave the game an 86, Game Informer did a 9 out of 10, and McCaffrey had little company presenting a perfect score. Think about those scores for a moment. If they were school grades, Titanfall got a lot of B and A- grades. Are those scores that worthy of believing the hype? Titanfall isn't the only title that's been released in the past couple of years that have been hyped up. Another game that instantly comes to mind is Ubisoft's Watch Dogs. At E3 2012, during the Ubisoft press conference, the final announcement was for a modern-day open-world game that was visually stunning. The players took on the role of a hacker who used their cell phone to access and control various electronics or gather information about people and things that are in close proximity. The presentation spoke of a full HD, next-generation title which had a cyberpunk feel to it. As it was something that gaming enthusiasts haven't seen from a title, live tweeters and quick-to-publish gaming sites drooled over this presentation. Fast forward 2 years later, the game hardly looks like the presentation we saw in 2012. The resolution was not the full 1080p that we were told the game would have, the textures were not what we saw, and the overall feel for the game was that of disappointment. Watch Dogs was a title that was hyped up by presentations and press releases to be a blockbuster title, and it turned out to be a mediocre 78 to 80 on Metacritic, 84 at IGN, 8.5 at Game Informer, and 87 at PC Gamer. Look at that. Another really hyped up title with nearly 2 years of advertising behind it, and it can't score above a B using the school grade system. Despite how the game was received, Watch Dogs was slated to get a sequel and is expected to be added to Ubisoft's lineup for franchise titles. The most obvious example of dangerous hype is the 2013 release of Aliens Colonial Marines. This was a game that for years had video clips showing off a highly detailed, deeply immersive atmosphere that one would expect from an Aliens title. What players were met with was a low-resolution, poorly detailed, buggy game that was held together by bubblegum and duct tape. Any coverage that Colonial Marines received turned out to be pre-rendered, which was presented at trade shows where large groups of consumers could take in what looked to be an amazing title. What stands out about this title was the class action lawsuit that was filed against Sega months after the game's release. The lawsuit blatantly accused Sega of false advertising. Evidence supporting the accusation was crystal clear with side-by-side comparisons of in-game footage from previews and the final product. The preview showed amazing lighting effects, a deep, dark atmosphere, and was highly textured, which could give any Aliens fans adrenaline flowing. The final product lacked all of this, as most reviews will indicate. During the court battle, finger-pointing was very abundant. Sega blamed Gearbox for poorly developing Colonial Marines. Gearbox then in turn accused outsourced help, Timegate Studios, for its lackluster product. Ultimately, Timegate Studios ended up out of business as a result of this suit. Despite the hype that several sites drummed up for this game, including Forbes, Aliens Colonial Marines bombed their reviews. Metacritic shows an overall score of 45, which includes a 25 from Destructoid, 20 from Giant Bomb, 4 from Game Informer, and 48 from PC Gamer. For the best example of a critic reacting to this title, I recommend checking out Angry Joe. Needless to say, his opening line, "You fucked it up," and his final score, 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 on the 360, says it all. Ultimately, I could keep piling up examples of several other titles where their name was nothing more than hype. All these examples would launch with bugs or lack content, missing promised features, and are forgotten within months. We as consumers can certainly be excited for upcoming titles, but we need to be critical of anything before it releases. This can impact hype issues and can reduce the amount of letdown we experience. Gaming news sites need to stop peddling publisher hype press releases. Publishers are only going to show what's in their best interest, and gaming sites that have any type of following ought to be advocating for readers, being critical alongside them. Let's stop being overly committed to unreleased titles. Instead, let's commit our excitement to games that are released and have proven their capabilities. Let me know what you think. Have you been burned by game hype? Have you found a game that lived up to its hype? Let me know in the comment section down below if you're on YouTube. If you found the audio version of this blog, there is a link in the description that takes you to my written blog, which allows you to leave comments as well. If you made it this far, I would like to thank you for listening to my rant. My name's been Grethade. I'm a member of Noobcast Gaming, and I'll see you guys next time.